Our first objective for today is I will be able to solve equations using my knowledge of inverse operations to solve 1- and 2-step equations and show my work. I'm going to be so picky about you showing your work during equations. I said before that equations are the most important thing, literally the most important thing that you will learn this year. So please, please, please write things down, show your work exactly how I show it. I'm showing you my work this way because it works. It makes sense. It helps you learn it. So please, please, please do what I ask. All right. In your table of contents, under review, I want you to write equations. Then, I know your review is like, I'm writing in white, that doesn't work. Your review is 1, review. And I want you to write 1 through, and then I want you to find whatever page you wrote the last thing on. Actually, the page before you wrote the vocabulary from Monday, Tuesday. I want you to find that page, and I want you to write it. So if it was page 7, you're going to write 7 there. Then equations, you're going to write wherever you started your vocabulary. So if you started your vocabulary on page 8, you're going to write 8 through, and then you're going to stop because we don't know how far you're going to be taking notes for equations. All right. So again, we talked about this on Monday, Tuesday. The difference between an algebraic expression and an equation is one has an equal sign, one does not. The equation has an equal sign. The main goal for solving equations is to isolate the variable, to get the variable alone. Okay? And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. So these are super trivial. They're one-step equations. You've learned one-step equations since 6th grade. So how you solve one-step equations, line down the middle. You're trying to undo what is happening to the variable. So in this case, it's m minus 11. So to undo that and to move the 11 to the right side, I'm going to do the opposite operation, inverse operation. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides. Then I'm going to put a line under to keep my work neat. All right. So on the left side here, this minus 11 plus 11, those canceled out, which is why I did that. And I'm left with m equals negative 19 plus 11, different signs I subtract, and I keep the sign of the larger number. So m equals negative 8. Right? Same thing for the second one. I do the opposite operation. So if I'm adding 2, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Again, I'm going to put a line under to keep it neat. Also, notice that I'm writing the minus 2 right under the 2 and right under the 1. Okay, I'm writing it right under the same terms here. Okay, so I get x equals 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Next, if we have multiplying and dividing. Same thing, line down the middle of the equal sign. P over 9 means division. So we do the opposite, which is multiplying. And I show multiplying by putting a dot and writing a 9. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, times 9. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. The 9's cancel, and I'm left with P equals negative 18. And then lastly, 10n represents multiplying. So I need to do the opposite operation, which is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by 10. 150 divided by 10 is 15. Oh, forgot my line here, sorry. The 10's cancel, and I'm left with just n. Again, you've learned that since 6th grade. That should not be hard. Okay, now we're going to move on to two-step, which you did learn last year. Okay, but these are the steps for solving a two-step equation. Write them down. So step 1 is you undo the adding or subtracting. And then step 2 is you undo the multiplying or dividing. So for example, always put that line down the middle. So step 1 is undoing the addition or subtraction. We're like doing opposite of order operations here. So the subtracting is the minus 10. And I'm going to undo that by doing the opposite operation. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides. These cancel. So I'm going to bring down what I have left over, which is the x over 2. Then I'm going to just add negative 5 plus 10 to get 5. Okay, step 2, because the x still is not by itself, step 2 is to get rid of the multiplying or dividing. So this is dividing, so I'm going to multiply 2 on both sides. This just becomes x. 5 times 2 is 10, so x equals 10. Another example, and you should be writing this down every time. It does not matter if the variable is on the right side or the left side. You do the same thing. So step 1 is undo adding or subtracting. So in this case, I'm going to undo this adding. And I'm going to undo it by subtracting 10. 18 minus 10 is 8. The 10s cancel, and I'm left with 3p. Then I'm going to undo the multiplication or division. This is multiplying, so I'm going to divide by 3. Okay, we can't actually do 8 divided by 3, and so we're going to leave our answer as a fraction, as an improper fraction, and it is okay. It is okay to have a fraction as your answer. Actually, often you will get a fraction as your answer. So 8 over 3 equals p. Okay, again, we're going to undo the adding or subtracting first. So in this case, I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. (12 minus 12 is 0. So 0 equals, I got rid of the 12s, 0 equals 8x. Then I undo the multiplying or dividing. So this is multiplying, so I undo it by dividing. Zero divided by anything is 0. So 0 equals x. And again, it is okay to have 0 equaling x because 0 is also a number. And again, I'm going to reiterate, you need to write down your problems exactly like I'm writing mine down. Neatly, literally do what I do. Okay, you need to get in the habit of doing it this way. I promise you it'll make your life so much easier when we get to harder equations. Okay, I want you to pause the video and I want you to try this one and then check your answer. And if you don't understand why I got the answer that I got, you should be asking me. So you should have paused your video. And now you should be checking your answer. The answer is x equals 1/3. Or if you wrote 4 over 12, you were not wrong, but you need to simplify. Okay, 4 over 12 is 1/3. So that should have been your answer. If you have absolutely no idea why, you should raise your hand or you should tell me on Zoom so that I can help you. All right, that is the end of the examples for today. I want you to now go and do the 1- and 2-step equation maze, and I will explain that in class.